Welcome back to Mahabharata, Echoes of Eternity. In today's episode, we explore the challenging period in the lives of the Pandavas when they are sent into exile. The Pandavas' exile, which was a punishment they had to endure as a result of the deceitful game of dice, is filled with not only physical hardship but also moral and spiritual challenges. In the forest, they face trials that test their resilience, unity, and faith. Let's delve into the hardships they endured and the lessons they learned in the wilderness. The Pandavas were sent into exile for 13 years after losing everything in the game of dice. Of the 13 years, the first 12 were to be spent in the forest in complete anonymity, while the final year had to be spent in disguise. As they set out for the forest, they were joined by their mother, Kunti, and their wife, Draupadi, who chose to accompany them. Their royal lifestyle and comforts were stripped away, and they were forced to live a life of simplicity, relying on their skills and inner strength. In the forest, they faced the harsh realities of life away from the comforts of the palace. It was a time of hardship, but it also marked the beginning of their spiritual growth and understanding of the deeper meanings of Dharma. Soon after entering the forest, the Pandavas were met by the great sage Vyasa, the father of Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vijura. Vyasa, a divine figure and the author of the Mahabharata itself, provided the Pandavas with valuable counsel. He told them that their time in the forest, although difficult, was a necessary step in their journey. Through their trials, they would gain strength and wisdom that would be crucial when they eventually reclaimed their kingdom. Vyasa's presence offered a sense of hope and guidance, letting them know that their suffering would not be in vain and that it was the path of destiny they had to walk. During their exile, the Pandavas faced both physical and emotional challenges. One of the most intense moments came when they were confronted by a powerful Rakshasa, or demon, named Kimira, who tried to disrupt their peaceful life in the forest. The Rakshasa attacked them while they were staying in a hermitage, forcing them to defend themselves. After the battle, the Pandavas realized that they were not entirely safe from external threats, even in the remote parts of the forest. The need for protection and wisdom grew more urgent, as the Pandavas realized the consequences of their exile would stretch beyond simple deprivation. But even with these difficulties, Draupadi, the wife of the Pandavas, faced her own trial. While they were still in the forest, she took on the disguise of a hermit, knowing that their anonymity was crucial for survival. The pain of the Pandavas, especially Draupadi's, was not just physical but emotional. Living in the forest was a stark contrast to their previous regal lives. One of the most notable events during the Pandavas' exile was Arjuna's penance to gain divine weapons. Arjuna, a mighty warrior, went to the Himalayas to seek Lord Shiva's blessing for divine weapons. This was crucial for the Pandavas, as they knew their enemies, particularly the Kauravas, were preparing for war. Arjuna spent many days in meditation, performing severe penances. Finally, Lord Shiva appeared to him, granting him not only divine weapons but also great wisdom. The weapons would be of great help during the impending war of Kurukshetra, and the spiritual wisdom that Arjuna gained during his penance was invaluable. While the Pandavas' physical suffering was evident in their harsh living conditions, they also faced trials in the form of emotional and psychological battles. At one point during their exile, they visited the sage Durvasa, famous for his fiery temper, who had once been the object of Shakuni's schemes. The sage had a very short temper, and it was crucial that the Pandavas meet him in the proper manner, or it could mean disaster. As they managed to avoid any conflict and respectfully greeted the sage, They were reminded that sometimes the greatest challenges are not physical, but those that come from interacting with the forces of nature and the divine. The Pandavas' trials in the forest were not just about their own actions, but about testing their virtues in the face of the unpredictable world around them. As part of their exile, the Pandavas traveled to many different regions and kingdoms, and along the way, they encountered several allies. One such ally was King Drupada, the father of Draupadi. Drupada offered his support and resources to the Pandavas, reassuring them of his loyalty. This reunion, and the camaraderie the Pandavas found in allies, reminded them that even in the forest, they were not alone in their struggle. They encountered many sages, kings, and warriors who provided them with encouragement and gifts. These interactions strengthened the Pandavas' resolve and helped them stay focused on their ultimate goal. The 12 years in exile were marked by significant trials and tribulations. During this time, the Pandavas not only grew in strength but also in wisdom and spirituality. Their lives in the forest were filled with learning, both from their interactions with sages and from their own inner struggles. As their exile drew to a close, the Pandavas knew that the final year, spent in disguise, was crucial. They had lived through the physical hardships of the forest and now had to endure the trials of maintaining their anonymity while also preparing for the inevitable confrontation with the Kauravas. The Pandavas faced not only physical obstacles but also deep moral and spiritual questions about the nature of dharma, justice, and destiny. These challenges shaped their characters and prepared them for the battle that would decide the future of Hastinapur. In the forest, the Pandavas were tested in every way imaginable, physically, mentally, and spiritually. They learned that true strength is not just in battle but in enduring suffering with grace, in facing the unknown with courage, and in maintaining hope even in the darkest times. Their exile, filled with hardships and challenges, ultimately became the crucible in which their characters were forged. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the forest adventures of the Pandavas. In the next episode, we will see how their time in the forest laid the groundwork for the eventual rise to power and the battles to come. Until then, stay tuned, and may the lessons of Dharma guide your own journey.